You're watching KAVU 25 News Now weekends at 5:30.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Amaya Norman. A shooting at a Brooklyn nightclub left 3 people dead overnight. Shots rang out just before 3:30 a.m. following a dispute inside a Taste of the City lounge in the Crown Heights neighborhood. Officers arrived at the scene and found numerous gunshot victims. According to the officials, there were a total of 11 victims. 3 were pronounced dead and the others were taken to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Officials say there were multiple shooters involved, but no one is in custody at this time. An investigation is ongoing. And Victoria ISD is saying goodbye to one of its longtime leaders. Deputy Superintendent Randy Myers will retire at the end of this month, closing at a career in education that began more than 30 years ago. Meyer has worn many hats at VISD, serving as Chief Financial Officer, Deputy Superintendent, and even Interim Superintendent. He also oversaw major projects, including the construction of the new Mission Valley Elementary School, which was finished on time and under budget. At last week's school board meeting, trustees honored Meyer with a plaque recognizing his leadership, mentorship, and dedication. Leaders say his impact will continue to shape the district for years to come. And the city of Refugio is looking for a new police chief, according to a report from the Refugio County Press. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting joined us now to break down that report and share what we know. Trenton.
Yes, Amaya, the Refugio County Press reported that former police chief Enrique Diaz has resigned, while he's currently involved in a state-level investigation. His resignation was effective July 25th after 19 years of service with the police department. The city named Peter Silvas as the interim chief on July 28th. While details surrounding his resignation haven't been released, Diaz has been involved in an investigation by Texas Rangers into written complaints about him. So far, the city says it has not gotten any updates from the Texas Rangers, but they've begun the search for a new police chief. We've reached out to Mayor Wanda Dukes and hopefully to learn the next steps of their chief search and any current information we have. And we're still waiting to hear back. Amaya, back to you.
Thank you, Trenton, for that information. Beef prices are higher than ever from the ranch to the grocery store. Experts at Texas A&M says it's because there aren't as many cows in the U.S., but people still want a lot of beef. Drought across Texas and other states made it hard for ranchers to grow their herds, and the southern border is close to livestock trade from Mexico due to screwworms concerns. The number of U.S. cattle is slowly going up, but prices for calves are still breaking record. Ranchers are feeding cattle to heavier weights to help, but there's still less beef overall. The USDA says cattle and calf production is worth more than $83 billion this year. Ranchers say the high prices are helping after years of tough droughts in high crosses. Now will lead us to your viewer poll for this afternoon. Are rising beef prices changing your family meals? Yes, we eat less beef. No, meals stay the same, and we've switched to other meats. And so far, we have 71% is yes, we eat less beef. No, meals, they stay the same at 26%. And at 2%, we just switched to other meals. But we would still love to hear from you. Just go over to our website at crossfieldtoday.com, or you can scan that QR code right there on your screen to take part. And we will have the latest here on 25 News Now and 10. And thanks to those that are voting right now. Now let's go to Trey Mining with the first look at our forecast. Trey, tell us how the week is going to be looking. I said before that we are still in a season watch where it's like a hurricane season and people still should be alert. So give us any information on that.
That's exactly right. We're still in hurricane season. Matter of fact, August and September are the prime months of hurricane season. Speaking of hurricane, have Aaron out there in the Atlantic Ocean. More on that a little bit later on. Around here, no hurricanes threatening us at the moment, so we're happy about that. Pretty quiet overall. Not much in the way of precipitation today. A few pop-up rain showers earlier, kind of hit and miss, and looks like it was in Jackson County up there to Wharton County. And tomorrow will be pretty much the same with triple-digit heat index value, and air temperature in the triple digits today and again tomorrow. The rain chances will be on the increase because of moisture off the Gulf of Mexico, a little bit less in the way of action to keep the precipitation away. How high pressure that is, I'm trying to say. All right, 99 degrees. We made it to 100 degrees earlier today, and we're down to 99 degrees. That's why we're down 1 degree. Feel like temperature 109 on the outside. Be careful out there. It's very hot. So put in water, find some shade, go inside, and the air conditioning is my recommendation. He's going to last all week, of course. Rain chances on the rise. And what's happening with Hurricane Aaron? We got you covered later on in the full forecast. Amaya.
Hurricane Aaron weakens to a Category 3 storm this morning. It comes after the storm exploded from just a Category 2 to a massive Category 5 overnight. According to the National Hurricane Center, the Aaron is on track to curve north between the U.S. East Coast and Bermuda next week. As of 11 a.m., the hurricane was about 200 miles north of San Juan, Puerto Rico, and moving towards the west-northwest near 13 miles per hour with a maximum of a sustained wind of 125 miles per hour. While Aaron is not forecasted to hit land, strong winds are impacting nearby islands and prompting warnings of possible flooding, landslide, life-threatening surf, and rip currents. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein co-conspirator, was moved earlier this month to a new prison facility in Bryan, Texas. Most inmates there are serving time for white collars, nonviolent crimes, and some are reportedly uncomfortably sharing space with convicted sex traffickers. Prison officials have warned certain inmates, especially those in work release programs, to be cautious when discussing Maxwell. Sources say she won't receive the same privilege as other inmates during her stay. Now to the new details we're learning about the escape of a convicted murderer and former police chief in Arkansas. Authorities releasing the information after recapturing Grant Hardin after nearly 2 weeks of the run. Here's ABC's Ike here with more.
He was supposed to be locked away for life. But this morning, investigators revealing new details about how a former police chief and convicted murderer, Grant Hardin, once known as the Devil in the Ozarks, spent 6 months scheming his way out of an Arkansas prison. On May 25th, surveillance cameras capturing Hardin, seen here, making his prison escape from the North Central Unit in a makeshift law enforcement uniform, wearing blacked-out clothes, a vest, even a fake badge. According to a Department of Corrections report, Hardin colored a white t-shirt and hat with Sharpie markers he stole from the prison kitchen where he worked. He sewed together aprons to look like a vest and molded a badge out of a food can lid. The report also says Hardin admitted to hiding all of it at the bottom of a trash can.
He was already working unsupervised outside the prison, in effect, by the loading dock. He was able to get to this makeshift uniform, which also had a makeshift badge, and convince the guards, I guess through waving or otherwise, to open the gate.
Once on the outside, Hardin says he survived off food he'd smuggled out and whatever nature could provide. Berries, bird eggs, even ants, drinking from creeks to stay alive. It took nearly 2 weeks before search teams, with the help of U.S. Border Patrol, caught him hiding in thick woods just a mile and a half from the prison.
This report seems to sort of point out a lack of supervision, and his classification should have been much higher, which translates into less freedom moving around the prison.
Air Canada has suspended its plans to resume limited flights today. Thousands of Air Canada flight attendants are still on strike, even after the Canadian government told them to go back to work. More than 10,000 workers stopped working on Saturday because of pay and scheduling problems. That forced the airline to cancel all flights and left about 100,000 travelers stuck. The government says the airline is very important to Canada's economy. The union says they will stay on strike until they get a fair contract. Air Canada plans to start flying again Monday evening. And hundreds of visitors to Grand Teton National Park may have been exposed to rabies due to a bat infestation. A colony of bats was discovered in late July above a number of rooms in the attic of the park's famous Jackson Lake Lodge. The National Park Service says the potential exposure occurred between May 5th and July 27th. Health officials are reaching out to lodge guests who came from 38 states and 7 countries. For more information, contact the Grand Teton Lodge Company. And since Democratic lawmakers left Texas to delay Republicans' new map, state leaders have challenged the limits of traditional Democratic norms to break the impasse. Now, to read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website at crossroadstoday.com. And the Victoria County Commissioner Court will meet Monday morning at 10 a.m. The meeting takes place at 115 North Bridge Street, room 241. On the agenda, commissioners will talk about the upcoming event, about the special election, and a drainage project along Old Highway Road in Precinct 4, and a lease agreement between the county and the Victoria Master Garden Association. Leaders say several other county business items will also be discussed. Now on to Don Brubaker is still on the move in the Great Northwest, this time visiting a museum about some historic explorers. Let's check it in with Don.
Hi again, everybody. We remain in Montana. We overlook the beautiful Missouri River, and today we are at the Lewis and Clark National Historic Trail Interpretive Center. Now, as we walked in, they raised the American flag. That was a great honor for the 5 military veterans in our group. It's overlooking the beautiful Missouri River. The center includes artifacts, films, and a 2-story diorama. After lunch, we visited First Peoples Buffalo Jump State Park, a fascinating archaeological site and presumably the largest bison cliff jump in North America. We learned about the rich history of these lands and enjoyed views of the Rocky Mountain front and Missouri River Valley. And here we are with one of our great friends from Victoria, Joseph Halapaska, a military veteran. So how proud were you to see that American flag being raised this morning here?
It's great. It really is. Need a lot more stuff for veterans.
Yeah, they do. Very good, Joseph. Thank you. And we'll continue the trip tomorrow. Reporting from the Lewis and Clark Museum in Montana, I'm Don Brubaker, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
For more of today's news story, come to crossfirsttoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain and Parker Cox will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them. Ukrainian President Zelensky meets Trump Monday in Washington to discuss last week's Putin talks and the ongoing war in Ukraine. New details coming up.
Definitely was a hot day today. Official high in Victoria at 99 degrees, low 76 degrees. Above normal for a normal high and low. Rain kind of lacking a little bit for the month so far, but the rain chances are on the rise. What days we have the best rain chances though? What's going on with Hurricane Aaron out in the Atlantic Ocean? We'll talk about it coming up next in your forecast.
Ukrainian President Zelensky will meet with President Trump Monday in Washington to discuss last week's talks with Russia Putin. The U.S. is trying to negotiate a peace deal in the ongoing war, but officials say it's a complicated process. Jen Sullivan looks at what's at stake heading to Monday's meeting.
Ukraine and the European Union showing a united front Sunday ahead of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's meeting with President Donald Trump in Washington on Monday.
It's very important that you are with us and that we speak to America and we speak together.
Zelensky holding a joint news conference with EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in Brussels. Meeting comes as the U.S. tries to mediate an agreement between Ukraine and Russia to end the war. A plan Trump now says calls for a peace deal rather than a ceasefire.
Whether we call it a ceasefire or it's a peace deal, stop the killing.
Monday's meeting at the White House comes on the heels of Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Anchorage, Alaska. Zelensky was not invited to those discussions.
It is so important to have as soon as possible a trilateral meeting.
Putin, who launched the war in 2022, wants all of the eastern Ukrainian Donbas region in exchange for freezing the current front lines, according to European officials.
The one thing that the president cannot agree to on behalf of the Ukrainians is any sort of land swap. That is for the Ukrainians.
Ukrainian and many European leaders want NATO-type security guarantees. Under the NATO agreement, an attack on one country is considered an attack against all allies. That's something Russia is likely to strongly oppose.
It would be absolutely, again, impossible to ask President Zelensky to give up territories for freezing the conflict without the security guarantees.
Other prominent European leaders plan to join the meeting between Zelensky and Trump Monday. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
About 101 people have been diagnosed with Legionnaires disease in New York City. City health officials say at least 4 people have died from the serious bacterial lung infection. The infection was likely spread by Legionnaires bacteria from cooling towers on buildings in central Harlem. A cooling tower is a rooftop device that releases mist into the air as it cools a large building. Now, if the water inside becomes too warm, stagnant, or isn't properly disinfected, Legionnaires can grow and sicken people who inhale the mist. The city health department first announced the cluster on July 25th. In a nationwide strike and widespread protests across Israel, thousands of protesters blocked major roads. Businesses also closed, and there are rallies happening in cities and towns across the country. They're demanding an end to the war in Gaza and a deal for the return of hostages held there. Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search Crossroads Today Plus.
Quieting down on the outside, a few rain showers in the Gulf, on south of Matagorda Bay. One there popping up near Louise along US 59. More rain chances tomorrow, very small rain chances, and the rain chances go up. Temperatures are up as well. We'll talk about that coming up in your forecast. Sunday afternoon, everyone. Trey Mining here. Hot day, no doubt about it. Take a look at this. The feel-like temperatures running through the 6 p.m. hour. 111 in Victoria. Ooh, just downright hot no matter where you go, even down on the coast. No relief along the coastline. They give it a little sea breeze down there, but not anything to really cool you off. Same thing you head to the north. Hallettsville 106, 110 feel-like temperature up there in Gonzales. And then we'll begin to feel a little bit better as I head toward the 10 p.m. hour will be feel-like temperatures in the 90s still, even at 10 o'clock at night. And waking up tomorrow morning with feel-like temperatures in the 70s. A hot day again for your day on Monday. Can't escape that. In the middle of summertime around here. Well into triple digits by 11 o'clock to noon time, about 2 or 4, 5 in the afternoon. 106, 107. Be careful out there. Not much relief in in the way of cloud cover or rainfall so far to give us a little bit of cooling out there, but not anything too widespread in the way of rainfall as of yet. Let's take a look at what's going on in the tropics. Gulf pretty much on the quiet side. This is Aaron has weakened quite a bit. Remember this time yesterday was a Cat 5 north of Puerto Rico. Now it's north of Hispaniola, head toward the Bahamas. 125-mile-per-hour winds. That's the sustained winds, 155 in gusts. So it's still a pretty powerful hurricane. Notice not as symmetrical as it was yesterday, but still there's the eye right there. Pretty good core of the storm right there around the eye center. And it's continued to look like it'll stay out in the Atlantic Ocean, not bothering any land areas, thankfully, and to the north. And getting in the cooler waters of the Atlantic Ocean coming up by later on in the week. Not a bother to anyone out there but the fish, but we'll keep watching it. This is just a forerunner of things to come because we're in the prime time hurricane season here in August and September, so more on the way. So don't let your guard down. Future tracker, so the winds, keeping that moisture flow in, and pretty unstable atmosphere, not so much today and tomorrow, but beginning by about Tuesday or so, it'll last through the rest of the week, which will be helpful with the daytime heat, get a few rain showers going, especially in the afternoon times those days. So keep that umbrella handy, try to stay cool, and those widespread rain showers and storms beginning on Tuesday, about 50 to 60% chances coming up for the rest of the week, starting on that day there and lasting through about the weekend or so. So getting a little caught up on the rainfall overall. Quail, in the morning time, 6 o'clock, mostly clear skies, lows in the 70s, mid to upper 90s by 2 o'clock with heat index values above 105 or so. Partly cloudy skies. Can't rule out our isolated rain shower here and there. Most areas remaining dry. Victoria, same thing, 9 o'clock in the low 80s, in the mid to upper 90s by 3 o'clock in the afternoon with the possible rain shower, but chances are will be remaining on the dry side. 20% chances for your day tomorrow on Monday, reaching triple digits in heat index value and air temperature, no doubt about it, and keeping the 90s going, hot temperatures, running on through the rest of the week. Notice the scattered rain showers and storms each day, running through the weekend, so be careful out there, carry an umbrella, stay cool, lows in the 70s overall, and outside of that, try your best to stay cool, that's all I can say. Main story is going to be the heat for the next several days. Take a look at this, how you can be connected with us. Here's how. Get your smartphone, scan the code you see there on the screen. They'll take you to a webpage. You can download our app. News, weather, and sports at your fingertips. It's free of charge to have on your phone. Be connected with us, what's going on in the Crossroads. And the man that knows about sports in the Crossroads is Mr. Ray Robinson.
Thank you, Trey. The Louise Hornets, Victoria West Warriors, and Tidehaven Tigerettes all made big moves this weekend in their respective tournaments. So stay tuned for the recap. The Louise Hornets volleyball team is a squad looking to make some noise this season. That message was made loud and clear after an impressive performance at this past weekend's tournament. This was all going down in Yorktown as the Hornets emerged victorious and remained undefeated with an overall record of 8-0, a feat that was far from easy. The Hornets played 3 matches. They first swept Faith Academy from Victoria, followed by a series sweep against Ganado. In the championship game, they faced Sacred Heart from Hallettsville in a tough 3-game series that the Hornets ultimately won. And the Victoria West Warriors also had a strong showing in their tournament this past weekend, competing in Columbus for the school's volleyball tournament. The Warriors captured first place for a second year in a row. On Saturday, they swept Schulenburg and followed up with another series sweep against the St. Joseph Flyers, a team that they faced in the tournament opener. Standout players Bella Buzzle, Emily Parker, and Morgan Ulbrich were all named all-tournament teams. They went undefeated this weekend, so a big congratulations to the Warriors. And another Crossroads team that was successful was the Tidehaven Tigerettes. The Tigerettes competed in Van Vleck this past weekend as part of their volleyball tournament, and they showcased their talent by sweeping teams like Van Vleck, Wharton. They then beat Palacios in a 3-game series to advance to the finals, where they unfortunately fell in a series sweep to the 4A powerhouse from Sweeney. And Crossroads, volleyball here in our area is alive and well. And by the looks of it, the team's performing is only going to get better. So I wanted to ask you, which volleyball team are you most excited for after their recent tournament performance? The Louise Hornets, undefeated, and the Yorktown tournament champions. Victoria West, back-to-back champions in Columbus. Tidehaven Tigerettes, strong run in the finals in Van Vleck. Or the Industrial Cobras that we talked about. Or is there another team that you could see potentially shocking us? Make sure you get all your votes in before the 10 p.m. newscast. And before we dive into some Astro talk, let's highlight a recent jersey honor. On Saturday, the team retired Billy Wagner's number 13 jersey. This tribute follows his induction to the Baseball Hall of Fame on July 27th. Wagner, a 7-time MLB All-Star pitcher, played for the Astros from 1995 to 2003 before finishing his career with the Braves in 2010. With this honor, he becomes the 10th Astro to have his jersey retired. But the Astros, the current day Astros, didn't have their best game today against the Baltimore Orioles. This was the deciding game of their series after the Astros secured a nail-biting victory in Game 2. But today was a different story. And despite some impressive plays like the one you see right here from Jesus Sanchez leaping for that grab, Baltimore seemed to have the Astros number. The Orioles scored double-digit runs, winning the game decisively. Final score, 12-0. The Astros will begin their series against the Detroit Tigers tomorrow at 5:40 p.m. But that does it for your sports. Amaya.
Thank you, Ray. A new forever stamp is honoring Jimmy Carter, and it drops on what we would have been his 101st birthday. Coming up. And scan this QR code. This is our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can watch us anytime, anywhere, get breaking news alerts, and vote in our viewer polls. Submit news, tips, and photos, and you will know all about our ongoing contests. The U.S. Postal Service is honoring the late President Jimmy Carter with a new forever stamp. The stamp will be released October 1st, what would have been Carter's 101st birthday. The design, created by the Postal Service art director, features an image from a 1982 painting by Herbert Abrams. Now, Carter passed away last December at age 100. The stamp, he passed away at age 100. Wow. The stamp celebrates his time in the White House and his work afterwards as a global activist for peace, human rights, and social progress. Wow, that's a blessing to be able to live all the way to 100.
He had a very, very long and interesting life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The Carter Center in Atlanta, if you guys are ever in the Atlanta area, great place to go check out, by the way.
You visited before?
Yeah, it was a part of a study tour when I was in college. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they have props from famous movies that was in Atlanta and stuff. Like, it's not just Jimmy Carter. It's very cool.
Wow, okay. Now, Trey, can you give us any updates on the weather?
Cool temperatures not happening around here, I tell you what.
Of course not, never.
Not anytime soon on that, but the rain chance on the rise, look, 50% coming up for the majority of the week, being about Tuesday or so. So that'll help a little bit. But keep it humid though. High temperatures in the 90s no matter what we're seeing each day. Temperature heat index value each day as well. Be careful out there. Lows in 70s. So be careful out there as well as the main thing going to be happening.
Me personally, I feel like it's been 100 degrees every day. But hey. But thank you so much, Trey. Thank you for joining us. We hope you be with us tonight for 25 News Now at 10. See you.